Joy bells. Hey. Oh, Lord. Real. Jesus is real to me. Come on. He give me the victory. So many people. Oh, Lord. Yeah, yeah. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Come on. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Let it. There's a storm out on the ocean, and it's moving. If your soul come on, everybody, put your hands together and let's praise the Lord. That's all right. Oh. The Lord told me to tell everybody in here today, it's never too late for things to get better. So just touch somebody and tell them it's never too late for things to get better. Better knows where you live. Better has your address. I want you to go and give 3 people a high five and tell them better, 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 better. Knows where you live, it has your address. Coming to your house, better. Hey! 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 I know shit. You can take your seat. Jump up on your feet and shout, better! You're the monster. The Lord said that everybody who praises him right now, you'll see better by the end of this week. Go ahead and praise.
Hello, and welcome to Onward Ministries Wednesday night service. This is Youth Pastor William Wonders III, and we are delighted to have you here. Thank you. We know it's the holidays, and we hope that you are enjoying the holidays, getting prepared for the holidays, and that the most important thing about the holidays is spending time with family and friends and sharing. And sometimes as we're enjoying ourselves, sometimes as we are looking forward to the holidays and sharing, sometimes we remember the people that we've lost and the people that have gone on. And today we want to just share with you Pastor Nathaniel Goodson, who preached for the 35th annual virtual retreat. And in this sermon, he talks about grieving through victory. And today we are going to show you that tonight, and we hope that that only touches you, but also gives you some wisdom into not only remembering the people that have gone on, but also grieving through victoriously. So, without further ado, Pastor Nathaniel Goodson.
Good evening. My name is Nate Goodson. I am the pastor of the Prayer Chapel Church in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. I am tremendously happy to be here tonight to celebrate the 35th annual retreat of Onward Ministries. My sister, Barbara Harris, and pastor of the Onward Ministries, and I have been doing this conference for a long time. I'm prayerful that you have been blessed and that you have been as blessed as I have been blessed being here. I am not going to prolong the time tonight. We've had some wonderful speakers and some wonderful presenters, and so I know that you have already been blessed. So I'm not going to keep you tonight. It's not my desire to prolong the time. My assignment tonight is to talk to you about living through grief victoriously. Living through grief victoriously. My dad was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina on June 15, 1930. He left in what historians have called the Great Migration. He landed in Philadelphia, where he lived with his uncle and his aunt in a section of Philadelphia known as the Bottom. It was in Philadelphia that my dad met the lady who would become his wife and the one with whom he would celebrate 68 years of marriage before transitioning to his home. Philadelphia was where my dad brought his home and raised his 7 children. Philadelphia was where my dad worked, retired from his job, attended, and ultimately became the senior deacon at the church pastored by his son, Nate Goodson. My father lived in Philadelphia more than 60 years. But when you ask my dad where his home was, he would ultimately always say, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Understand this. He married in Philadelphia, worked in Philadelphia, played and attended worship in Philadelphia, but according to him, Philadelphia was not his home. My dad raised 5 sons and 2 daughters in Philadelphia. But if you ask my father where his home was, it was always Fayetteville, North Carolina. As children growing up, that was very confusing for us because every summer when we got out of school, he would pack us up and inform us that he was going home. So we would get on the train at 30th Street Station, or later on when he brought his first automobile, and we would make the trip to Fayetteville, North Carolina. What I'm trying to tell you is that Philadelphia may have been where he had monumental things take place in his life, but Philadelphia was not his home. Philadelphia may have been where he lived, but his home was Fayetteville, North Carolina. When I thought about that, I thought about grief. I thought about how we can go through grief victoriously. And I thought about home. I considered what home was supposed to be. Home, first of all, is a special place. It is a place of refuge. It is a place of escape. It is a place of diversion. It is a place that's free from worry and stress. It is a place where you can come home and be at rest. Home is a place of comfort and security. Home is that out of the unique and exceptional place where we can be ourselves. We don't have to be pretentious. We don't have to be phony when we get home. Home is a place of our strongest and dearest and closest relationships. That is what home is to most of us. But the Bible text that I have selected for this evening's message is selected because it gives us a little bit more information about home. Listen, do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going. So please allow me to say it another way. The text tells us that Jesus has prepared a special place for us. And that special place has been prepared by the hands of Jesus. I go to prepare a place, he says. So this evening, it is my privilege to remind you that for each of his children, those that are a part of his family, you have a home. And that home has been prepared for you by Jesus himself. Anyone who has been saved understands that when they leave this world, they are not homeless. When they leave this world, they have another place. But it has, and they leave knowing and understanding that that home has already been prepared for them by Jesus. Now, I need to tell you two things, and then we will be finished for tonight. First of all, this place was made by the best. I will need to pause here and remind you that it doesn't get any better than having something made by Jesus. I don't care whatever it is that Jesus makes, he makes it the best. And whether it is your marriage, whether it is your life, whether it is a home, anything that is made by Jesus Christ will always be the best. So please understand that the home prepared by Jesus for you and for me and for those that have gone before us is a place of rest and tranquility. There is no treachery there. There is no distrust there. There is no deceit in that home. When Jesus builds something, he builds it to last. He builds it so that it will stand. He builds something. And when Jesus builds something, he builds it to stand through the storms. He builds it to stand through the rain. When Jesus builds something, it will not fall. It will not collapse. But there's one more thing that the text says. The text tells us that we will be with the best. That not only is this home made by the best, but it is made so that we will be with the best. And that's a blessing. That is a blessing, that one day we will be with the best. And the people that we're going to be with in this home, they're not the best because they had perfect lives. They're not the best because they never made any mistakes. They are not the best because they made a lot of money. They are not the best because they reached the pinnacle, the highest point of their profession. They are not the best because they had powerful positions. These people are the best because they went through death to get home. Listen to what I'm saying. They went through death to get home. Now, I have to pause one last time and tell you that you don't go to death, you go through death. Let me say it another way. A man would get off the bus every day at the entrance of the cemetery. He would go to work and he would come home on the bus and he would get off at the cemetery. Every day he would get off the bus, he was riding at the cemetery. He would get off the bus and walk into the cemetery. After watching the man get off the bus every day and walk into the cemetery, one of the passengers asked the bus driver, why is it that every day the man gets off the bus and walks into the cemetery? The bus driver said, well, the man has this great, big, wonderful, beautiful house on the other side of the cemetery. And the road that leads up to this mansion, the road that leads up to this building was washed away in a storm a few months ago. And now the man has to go through the cemetery to get to his home. He is not going into the cemetery. He is going through the cemetery to get home. Now I need to close, but I can't close without telling you that those who have gone on before us, those that have closed their eyes before us, did not go into death. They went through death to get home. And everybody that has died has gone through death to get to the cemetery, and everybody that has died has not gone to death, but has gone through the cemetery, and now they are home. They're home safe in the arms of the Lord. They're home where the wicked will cease from troubling and where the weary shall be at rest. They are home where they will never grow old. They are home in the sweet by and by. What I'm trying to say to you is this, that God never says to his children, never sees his children die. God never sees his children die. He sees them coming home. Now, in the spirit, I can see that there are some of you who really don't understand what I'm trying to say, or you don't believe what I'm trying to say. So let me bring it home a little bit for you. Help me understand. Help me say, God never sees his children die. He simply sees them coming home. One more time. God never sees his children die. He sees them coming home. Let me put it to you in another way that's a little closer to home. Let me say it this way. I was flying from Kansas City a couple of years ago, coming back to Philadelphia. When my driver dropped me off at the Kansas City terminal to stand in line to get my ticket possessed, I noticed something. While I was waiting there, a family came into the airport. They were holding on to this elderly woman who was leaving Kansas City at the same time that I was leaving Kansas City. They were kissing her and they were hugging her and they were saying goodbye to her. They gave her goodbye gifts, and one of the people I heard say, "It's so hard to say goodbye." Finally, they called my flight, and much to my surprise, the elderly lady was on my flight going back to Philadelphia. When we arrived in Philadelphia, a couple of hours later, a strange thing happened. When we got on the plane and took our trip to Philadelphia, I noticed something interesting. I noticed that when the woman got to Philadelphia, there was another crowd in Philadelphia waiting to meet her. They were laughing and they were happy to see her. They were glad and they were overjoyed that the elderly woman was back in the city. In Kansas City, she left one crowd who was sad to see her leave, and then she arrived in Philadelphia to another crowd who was happy to see that she had arrived. In the summer of 2018, my father, Deacon Nathaniel Goodson, boarded flight final for his final trip home. He left here with a crowd of people who were crying and we were feeling so badly and so overwhelmed and so grief-stricken that we were losing our father and that he was leaving home. But I got to tell you that as soon as that moment that my dad closed his eyes, he stepped into another place where everybody had their arms open, where everybody was yelling and screaming his name, where everybody had welcome signs for him because he had finally gotten home. I know that Fayetteville, North Carolina was his original home, but his last home was a place where the wicked will cease from troubling and where the weary shall be at rest. His last home was a place that he was surrounded by all of his family. His mother was there, his daddy was there, his brothers were there. All of them were standing with signs welcoming my daddy home. And as I say to you as I close, I want you to remember that you can get through grief. You can get through the hard times. You can get through the heartbreak. You can get through all of the feelings that we have when somebody dies because we know that they are going home. They are going to a place where Jesus lives. They are going to a place where the sun never sets. They are going to a place where the songwriter said every day is howdy, howdy, and you never ever say goodbye. So I say to you, if you had a chance to talk to anybody who left here and went home, you wouldn't be able to convince them to come back because, my friend, they are home. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. May the God that blesses all of us, the God that watches over all of us, the God that lifts pain from our hearts and burdens from our shoulders, will that same God be with you.
Hello, thank you so much for watching and enjoying the video. We hope that you have a great Christmas, happy holidays from the Williams family, as well as all the families from Onward Ministries. We want to give you just blessings to you and happy holidays. Pastor, I think she's in the chat. Just want to say happy holidays as well. Thank you so much for staying, and we will see you Sunday. Please stay tuned for the information we have for you after, and hope to see you again. All right, God bless you.
The Matrix changed my life.
To get to be.
Go and spread the tide. Spread them all around, y'all. The Jesus saved. Jesus saved. From the utmost. Yes, he does. Jesus saved. Through the utmost. I'm here to tell you. This is what he'll do. Hallelujah. Whoa, hallelujah. Can anybody testify? Say, now let me say it like, if you're lying or cheating, don't leave. Jesus say, anybody know his name? Go and get a friend. Pick up a neighbor. Tell him that he saved. Jesus saved. I'ma say it again. If you're a liar